I've always been interested in craft. I've done dabbled in various craft things through my life. I started making wooden things many years ago, doing little tables and little pieces of furniture for the house, but it wasn't enough, so I tried wood carving, and I did that for about 10 years. And then in the meantime, I discovered turning, and that's my passion.
What appeals to you about the wood turning over, say, wood carving?
Wood turning is quicker. You see results much quicker. You can use found wood rather than buying wood specially. And I find it's much easier to do. It doesn't take as much effort. The machine does it for you practically.
So is it similar to a lathe where you put it on and it turns?
It is a lathe. Yep. It is a lathe, yes. We're using a lathe. I started off by going to TAFE for one term to see how I'd feel about it all. And I was just hooked from about the second lesson, and I just went out and bought a lathe immediately. And away I went. And I just can't. I turn about probably 5 days out of the week. I'm in my shed. When my family ring up and want to find me, that's where I am. I just get lost out there. It's wonderful.
Is there anybody else in the family that does do wood turning or works with wood?
No. People, when they meet me, usually say, so do you share the shed with your husband? Is your husband a wood turner? Is that how you got into it? And I say, no. He's not interested in wood or in turning at all. My father used to pot around in the shed making things with hand tools many, many years ago. Maybe that's where I started to get interested in timber. But timber is just such a wonderful medium to work with. Every piece is different, and you never know what you'll get until you're starting to turn it.
Do you find when, say, you go for a drive on the weekend that you're probably looking around looking for bits of wood and your poor husband's going, let's just get to where we're going?
When we go on holiday, I always say, now, am I allowed to bring timber back? Have we got room for timber in the car? And we end up getting timber from all around the place, and it's become a family joke, really. Friends and family bring me pieces of timber. Last Christmas, my son was visiting from Victoria with his family, and he gave me 5 large, heavy parcels, and when I unwrapped them, there were 2 pieces of Huon pine and 3 pieces of blackheart sassafras. When he gave them to me, I said, well, what can that be? And he said, I'm the only son in Australia who would be giving his mother this on Christmas Day, so think about it. And it was pieces of timber for me to use.
And Huon pine's an amazing wood. That'd be a great Christmas gift for a wood turner.
It is, and you can't cut it down there. You have to have a licence, and it's becoming rare. It's good for turning, but it can be carved as well, and I do occasionally do carving onto turning, and so that was very useful. The early settlers used it for wash troughs, tombstones.
Now, just having a look at some of your pieces that you did have there, you've worked with sassafras, red gum, and a couple of other blackwood as well,
yes.
Plus the Huon pine that you've used as well.
Yes.
Do you find that you have a favourite piece of wood to use, or do you think that they've all just got their own little magical pieces in them?
I just keep going back to blackwood. I love it. It's just got such character. And when I'm planning to make something, if it can be made out of blackwood, that's what I use. It's my favourite.
Is there a particular wood that may be difficult because it is such a tough or hard wood to carve?
It's not so much difficult because it's hard, but sometimes they've got a curly grain. That's a challenge.
When you pick up a piece of wood, I suppose it must be a very interesting thing to people to watch you to grab a bit of wood. Whereas some people go, oh, that'll look great in the fire. You'd be going, no.
I know, it's horrible. We were, many years ago, we were visiting a winery in Clare, and I wasn't terribly interested in the wine, but I was wandering around this lovely old building, and I noticed they had a wood pile there near the open fire, and the fellow serving was quite amused when I asked, would I be able to buy a part of his few pieces of his wood for turning, because it was just too good to go on the fire.
So how do you choose a piece of wood to turn? Is there any particular things that you look for?
No, nothing. I like something with a lot of colour or pretty grain in, but no, nothing particular. They all have their own challenges and their own charm. each piece is charming in its own way.
You were saying before that the machinery does a lot of the work for you, so I suppose hopefully you've only just got to lift the wood up and attach it and then you're away kind of thing. That makes it a lot easier for you?
Yes. Some timbers are very dense and very hard, and you've got to have extremely sharp tools and work them in slightly different manner, but none of it is hard work. That's why I can understand why more ladies don't take it up. It's not hard work.
You could have the market cornered.
Well, yes, I've had early when I was starting to turn, I had a few fellows. Maybe if I was turning at the Working Wood Show or something, I'd have a few fellows come up and say, "Oh, that's not the sort of thing a woman should be doing." Mainly older fellows didn't really feel it was a female thing. But I don't get so much of that now, and I've never had anything like that happen in the club. The blokes are very, very supportive.
Is there many more women in the club?
No, I'm it. We've tried to encourage other women, and I don't know if I frighten them away or the men do. No, but if you asked any of the men, they wouldn't agree that we had a woman in the club. We're all blokes in together. So
is that a good or a bad thing?
Oh, it's good. They're very, very nice to me. Yeah.
Now, you've got one piece on display that's in the show, and it's a beautiful, you've described it as almost like a cake stand, where it's a triple tier with the turned legs to support it and that. Mm-hmm. How long did it take to make that one?
Well, that one took probably about 2 months to complete. That's the type of thing I like to do. I like to do furniture mostly. I don't care how long it takes because I'm enjoying it so much that I'm not bothered when it's to get it finished. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing.
What about when you completed that one? There must be a great feeling of satisfaction when you can see it all fits together and it all works.
It is. I get very nervous right at the end when I'm just assembling it, just in case anything goes wrong, because I know there's a lot of work in it.
It's a bit hard to putty some of these to make them match up too, isn't it?
Yes, I don't think putty would go down well.
Would you say to maybe a lady that is listening to this is something that you should just have a try at and see what it is, if it works for you?
No, absolutely. When I'm demonstrating at a show, I always say to the women, if you're interested in any craft, have a go. Because I believe that most people, if they are into crafts, they can probably turn their hand at any other craft, and it's just a matter of wanting to. So, yes, I do encourage women to have a go wherever I am. It's just such a wonderful